do?
I said I know what I want to kick off with. A couple of precepts. Hey, we live here. Hey, we live. All right, kind. Shalom, shalom. By Yahweh Allah. Right, this is the WFI Detroit Sabbath service, kicking off where we left off. The brief account of every slavery. Right, we left off the Babylonian captivity. So we're going into the next slavery of Yasha Allah. Right, so let's get the book of 2nd Chronicles. Right, it's at chapter 36. And we can start at verse 17.
The book of 2nd Chronicles, chapter 36, and verse 17.
Right?
And it reads, Therefore he brought upon them the king of the Chaldees.
Right, the king of the Chaldees. That's talking about the king of Babylon. Right? That's talking about the king of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar. Right, read.
Who slew their young men with the sword
Right.
at the house of their sanctuary.
Right?
And had no compassion upon young man or maiden, old man, or him that stooped for age. He gave them all into his hand.
Right?
And all the vessels of the house of Yahweh, great and small, and the treasures of the house of the Lord, and the treasures of the king and of his princes, all these he brought to Babylon.
All these he brought to Babylon. Right? Now remember, it was 3 different sieges. You had 597, or it's like you had like, what's that? It's like 605, then you had 597, and you had the final one under Zedekiah. Right? Keep reading. So this is going through all those sieges where he took everything that was in Israel and burnt the temple, right? Keep reading.
Verse 19. And they burnt the house of God, and brake down the wall of Jerusalem, and burnt all the palaces thereof with fire, and destroyed all the goodly vessels thereof.
Right, keep reading.
And them that had escaped from the sword carried he away to Babylon, where they were servants to him and his sons, and to the reign of the kingdom of Persia.
Until when?
And to the reign of the kingdom of Persia.
Right, into the reign of the kingdom of Persia. He was carried away into Babylon into the reign of the kingdom of Persia. That's 589 BC, right? Keep reading.
Verse 21. To fulfill the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah, until the land had enjoyed her Sabbaths. For as long as she lay desolate, she kept Sabbath, to fulfill the threescore and 10 years.
That's 70 years. So 539 BC, that's when you got the conquering of Babylon, right? So let's look that up online. Go to, it's 2217. Let's get the Battle of Opis. Look up the Battle of Opis. It's OPIS, right? The Battle of Opis. OPIS should be it, right? Right, 539 BC. Check it out. Click it. Open it up. The first one that'll suffice. Yeah, that'll work. Right. 539 BC. The Battle of Opis. Scroll down. Try to get to the article. All right. Scroll down. Yeah, check that out. War battle. All right. I like that little brief description they gave at the beginning.
Yeah, you want to go through?
Scroll down. Here it is, that's what I wanted. It says the Battle of Opis in 539 BC between the armies of Persia under Cyrus the Great and the Neo-Babylonian Empire under Nabonidus during the Persian invasion of Mesopotamia. Right? The battle was fought near the strategic riverside city of Opis, north of the capital Babylon. It resulted in a decisive defeat for the Babylonians. Cyrus the Great was subsequently proclaimed king of Babylonia and its subject territories, thus incorporating the Babylonian Empire into the greater Persian Empire. And look up the Persian Empire map. Right? Look up Persian Empire map. But before we do that, so like real fast, look up the Babylonian Empire map. You might want to pull it up on a different tab. Y'all have to go back and forth really quick. because it basically swallowed up the Babylonian Empire within its empire. All right. So pull up scroll down. Yeah, pull up that Babylonian map right there.
This one.
Yeah. All right. That's the height of the Babylonian Empire. Right. It's like it. Right. They had all of Mesopotamia, all of the Levant, a little. You see, they going into Lydia a little bit. All right. That's the land that they had. And you see Media is right next to it. All right, Media is actually right next to it. Matter of fact, real fast, let's get what's that, Isaiah? I believe the 13th chapter. In the first verse, I believe that's what I want. Nah, Isaiah, it's like 20. I want to say it's 20. What's that precept? Might have to look it up.
Talking about the Medes and the Persians.
Yeah.
I think it is 13. Where you say he gonna rise up.
Oh, Elon. That's what I wanted. Where he's going. It's prophesying about the Persians and the Medes.
Come.
I'm gonna find it.
It's verse 17, I think.
No, that's not what I want. Let me pull it up. Right, yeah, it's Isaiah 21 and 2, so like.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 21, verse 2. A grievous vision is declared unto me.
Right.
The treacherous dealer treacherously.
Right, because Isaiah, that's what people got to understand. All 66 of Isaiah isn't talking about the so-called white man. It's not talking about America. Like, some stuff is double fold, but some stuff is simply history that he was prophesying about at that time. So before it happened, he prophesied, just like Daniel prophesied different things about different kingdoms, right? Keep reading.
And the spoiler spoileth.
Right.
Go up, O Elam, besiege, O Media. All the sign thereof have I made to cease.
You see that? So that's talking about Media, right? The Elamites, right? Media coming and conquering Babylon. He's seen the vision of them destroying Babylon, right? Because jump down to verse 9, just to prove this is Babylon.
Verse 9. And behold, here cometh a chariot of men with a couple of horsemen. And he answered and said, Babylon is fallen, and all the graven images of her gods have he broken into the ground.
You see that? So Media besieged Babylon in 539 BC. Now, I said pull up a Persian map because I want to show the growth of the Persians, and it's documented in the scriptures. So let's get Daniel chapter 7 and start at verse 4.
The book of Daniel. Book of Daniel chapter 7 and verse 4.
Right.
And it reads, and the first was like a lion and had eagle's wings.
Right.
And I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it.
All right, do any brothers know what Daniel 7 and 4 is going into?
I think that's the Babylonian kingdom.
That's the Babylonian kingdom, right? This is the Babylonian kingdom that raised up, right? So we go read about the Persians in the next verse because they're the ones who conquered them, right? Read.
Verse 5. And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side.
Why did it raise itself up on one side? Because it was the Persian Medo Empire, right? But the Medians, right, they got sucked into the Persian Empire as a whole. So that's why it was lifted up on one side, right? And I believe we can pull that up. Persia conquers Media, right? Let's see if that pops up. Right, I want to find the name of the war, but that's cool. We can keep reading. So you got the one side lifted up on the other because the Persian, the Medes was smaller than the Persian Empire. They got sucked into it. Right, keep reading.
And it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it between the teeth of it.
Right, now those 3 ribs represent the carcasses of other nations. So it was 3 nations that the Persians had to conquer to become the Persians. And one of them was Lydia. Now go back to the Babylonian map real fast. Check out the Babylon. Did they conquer Lydia? No. Now go back to the Persian map. Right? If you check out the Persian map, they actually conquered Lydia. Right? They conquered Lydia. Right? They conquered the Lydian Empire. Right? And they conquered the Egyptian Empire. Right? And they conquered the Babylonian Empire. Those are the three ribs. The Lydians, the Babylonians, and the Egyptians. Now the Lydians was conquered in the Battle of Thambra. I believe, we can pull up the Battle of Thambra. I believe that's, I want to say 545 BC or something like that. But the Battle of Thambra is a Thympra. Yeah, right there, B. Yeah, it's like the Battle of Thambra. What year is this? I want to say 545. Or it's 547 BC, when they conquered the Lydian kingdom under Cyrus the Great. So they conquered the Lydians, right? Then they conquered the Babylonians, they conquered the Babylonians in 539 BC. And then in 525 BC, pull up the Battle of Pelusium. They conquered Egypt under Cambyses II. Battle of Pelusium is P-L-E. It should pop up there's like a P-E-L-E. It's P-E-L-E. It look like it's P-I-L, P-E-L-E. What is it? Pelusium. Sure. It's not that one. Yeah, there we go. Pelusium, something like that. Yep, and this is when Cambyses II conquered them. That's 525 BC. Right, so those are the three ribs. Right, the Egyptians, the Lydians, and the Babylonians.
Can you go to type in ancient Persia worldhistory.org. That's ancientpersiaworldhistory.org. This is an edifying website where you want to dive deep into the history, know the dates. It even shows you the maps.
You said
And
ancient.
it's Persia.
Ancient Persia.
It's ancient Persia worldhistory.org. Ancient Persia worldhistory.org.
Ancient Persia world history. It's actually Persia. It's a Persian-based website. Ancient Persia world history.
You got to space it out.
No, this is a website name.
Oh.
You just go search the website name, .org. Click all.
Scroll down.
It should be right. Is that
There
it?
you go.
Okay.
That's it.
The worldhistory.org.
You can scroll down. Down. Hold up. Go down a little bit. Go up a little bit. Oh, not too up. Scroll real slow, I'm sure. Keep going. Hold on. Go down a little bit more. You keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Alright, it's gonna be this paragraph. Go down. Oh, there we go. It says, Cyrus died in 530 BCE, right? Roughly 530 BCE, possibly in battle, and was succeeded by his son Cambyses II, right? It shows you the date, who extended the Persian rule into Egypt. Scholars continue to, that's really it on that, right? But nevertheless, it even tells you the name of the battle, I believe. Scholars continue to debate the identity of the successor, as he could either be his brother, Bardia, or median usurp. Fatima. Let's see. No, that's it on that. Can you scroll up just a little bit, Dr. Sure? Like up a way. A little bit more. It says Cyrus II humanitarian efforts are well known throughout the Cyrus cylinder, right? This is actually, you can scroll down just a little bit to show Israel what the cylinder looks like, right? If I'm not mistaken, I have more than one. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the Cyrus cylinder.
Got to touch on that.
We're going to dive into that in just a second, but you mind scrolling up just a little bit more so we continue reading. Cyrus II's humanitarian efforts are well known for the Cyrus cylinder, a record of his policies and proclamations of his vision that everyone under his reign should be free to live as they wish, as long as they did, so in peaceful accord with others. Right now, when you read the scriptures, a lot of people, they didn't give a damn, who you really worship for real. It wasn't until as time progressed, man became more strict with his policies and his doctrines. Even now to this very day, you're so limited to what you can really do. They may call it a free country, but it's not really free. In ancient Assyria, you can do whatever you want. Ancient Greece, for real, you can do damn near whatever you want. But let's continue reading. It says,
Saki, I want to touch on one point.
Oh, yeah.
It says he proclaimed of his vision that he's seen that everybody should have their own, be able to reign in their own king. Because in Babylonia, you kind of had to worship the king and that they gods that they made, whatever the case may be. You had to worship their idols. They try to make Daniel bow down to Baal, the dragon. And they said the proclamation of the king, where you had to bow down or they'd throw you in the lion's den, things like that. But nonetheless, during Cyrus, we ain't go operate like that because he got a vision. Now, who speaks to men in visions? The Most High, right? Because the Most High ultimately gave him that proclamation, and it's documented in the Cyrus cylinder. That's an actual artifact that shows that he's going to do that. That's called the Cyrus cylinder. That's what he's bringing out. Right? So I don't know if you wanted to pull that or if you wanted to make a point.
That's a good point.
Pull that out of Esther. Ezra.
Yeah, you can grab that in Ezra 1 and 1.
Yeah, get Ezra 1 and 1 real quick.
The book of Ezra, chapter 1, verse 1. Now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled, the Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation.
That he made a what?
That he made a proclamation.
He made a proclamation, right? This is that vision. Go ahead.
Throughout all his kingdom, and put it also in writing, saying.
And did what?
And put it also in writing.
We got the writing.
Literally.
We have the writing. Right? So how's the Bible not a real book? You literally got the writing of his proclamation.
This is real history.
This is real history, right?
It mentions the Jews, the Israelites in that cylinder. That tackling the old debate, the Jews is a made up nation, or the Israelites are a made up nation.
That's madness. All right, bring it up.
Verse 2. Thus said Cyrus, king of Persia, the Lord God of heaven have given me all the kingdoms of the earth. He have charged me to build him an house at Jerusalem, which is in Judah.
Right. Saki, that's really, I think that's all we need on that. Now,
I just wanted one more,
oh, yeah,
if I'm not mistaken. Continue.
Verse 3. Who is there among you of all his people? His God be with him, and let him go to Jerusalem, which is in Judea, and build the house of the Lord God of Israel. He is the God which is in Jerusalem.
And that follows right here, where it says, under his reign, it's like as they wished, as long as they did so in peaceful accord with others. After he conquered Babylon, he allowed the Jews who had been taken from the homeland by King Nebuchadnezzar, the so-called Babylonian captivity, to return to Judah, and even provided them with funds to rebuild their temple. It's like the Lydians continue to work the, that's.
Did we get that when he gave them the funds?
Not yet. I was gonna jump on it. I wanted to get
That's
Nehemiah 1.
That's crazy.
You really start at verse 1, for real.
The book of Nehemiah, chapter 1, verse 1. The words of Nehemiah, the son of Hilkiah, and it came to pass in the month Causelu, in the 20th year, as I was in Shushan the palace, that Hananiah.
It's like, can you Google Shushan the palace? That's in Elam, right? Yeah, that's mentioned in Esther. That's mentioned damn near all throughout.
Yep, Shushan. It's really named after Susa, which is the ancient Elamite capital from way back, like during the time of during the time of Ur of the Chaldees. It's been their capital.
I think it means lily too.
Like, see, it actually says it. So click it. It says the ancient site of Susa, right? That's what it say. It says was an ancient city. Well, hold on, Well, yeah. It says Susa served as the capital of Elam in the Al-Qaeda Empire. So in the East Indians say, hey, when do we have y'all in slavery? Say, you damn Persian, man. Or you had us in captivity under Cambyses, man. Under Cyrus, under Darius, right? Xerxes. That's when you had us in slavery. Right? Because Shushan, right, is named after Susa. That's what it's going into. That's where the palace of Elam was. Because men there had a palace of their homeland because they felt that's where their gods were. Right? Like Babylon, he had his in the land of Shinar. He had his in Babylon. Right? You read that in Daniel. He brought all the false gods, or it's like he brought all the Lord's things to his false god's temple in the land of Shinar. His land, his homeland. Same thing with the Persians. They would have a ancient palace where their homeland lies, which is Shushan. That's why in Isaiah he said, arise, O Media, O Elam, and besiege. Because they're Elamites. Right?
That's right.
Did you have a point in that?
Looking for a bit. Now you continue reading.
Yeah, Mike.
Verse 2. And Hananiah, one of my brethren, came, and a certain man of Judah, and I asked him concerning the Jews that had escaped, which were left of the captivity,
Right?
and concerning Jerusalem.
Right, so Nehemiah, like, what's going on with Jerusalem? Right? What's going on with the homeland? Because you got to think that we only was in Babylon 70 years. So you had people who probably was kids and got took from to Babylon, lived through that, and then they actually seen the temple being built. So you got people that lived through that.
And then tell you about that in Jeremiah, how they left the poor the little ones.
Yeah, Jeremiah was left.
Yep.
Right? Jeremiah was left. Right? So you have men still left in the land. Like, they didn't take every single person to slave, just like 1619. Did they take every Jake from Africa to slavery? No, it still was remnant left. Right? And that's why you still got Jake over there.
And they also got they live poor city, you put somebody over there.
Yeah, that's how you do it, man. They set Zedekiah over them. Right, during the reign of Zedekiah, that 11 years, it was nothing but the poor and lowest of the land. That's how you conquer a nation. You take all the blacksmiths and warriors so we can incorporate them in our empire. You go put a puppet king over y'all so y'all can stay in tribute and subject to us. But Zedekiah tried to go to, all hell broke loose. You can keep reading.
Verse 3. And they said unto me, the remnant that are left of the captivity there is in the province are in great affliction and reproach. The wall of Jerusalem also is broken down, and the gates thereof are burnt with fire.
Yep, that's going into the Babylonians, right? You reading?
And it came to pass, when I heard these words, that I sat down and wept and mourned certain days, and fasted and prayed before the God of heaven.
I mean, who wouldn't weep? Your whole city, your nation is just desolate, right?
I can read.
Verse 5. And said, I beseech thee, O Lord God of heaven, the great and terrible God, that keepeth covenant and mercy for them that love him and observe his commandments. Let thy ear now be attentive, and thy eyes open, that thou mayest hear the prayer of thy servants, which I pray before thee now, day and night, for the children of Israel thy servants, and confess the sins of the children of Israel, which we have sinned against thee, both and I and my father's house have sinned. We have dealt very corruptly against thee, and have not kept the commandments, nor the statutes, nor the judgments, which thou commandest thy servant Moses.
This don't go into that particularly. I'm trying to find exactly how they gave them the riches. Right, so that's going into Nehemiah, going back to the king, going back to Israel. But I'm gonna find that exact precept. Because he was the cupbearer of the king.
This is really chapter 2. 3-ish.
You wanna jump down
You can jump to
Oh, yeah, I see
Yep.
it.
yeah, jump to 3, and we're gonna jump down to like 8.
chapter 2, verse 3.
Yeah, 2 and 3.
I see it.
The book of Nehemiah, chapter 2, verse 3. And said unto the king, let the king live forever. Why should not my countenance be sad?
So like you start verse 2.
Verse 2. Nehemiah chapter 2, verse 2. Wherefore the king said unto me,
Sorry, start on verse 1. We want to get the whole picture for Israel.
the book of Nehemiah chapter 2, verse 1. And it came to pass in the month Nisan, in the 20th year of Xerxes, the king, that wine was before him. And I took up the wine and gave it unto the king.
Right, that's being a cupbearer, right? He presented wine and drinks before the king. Go ahead.
Now I had not been before time sad in his presence. Wherefore the king said unto me, why is thy countenance sick, seeing thou art not sick? This is nothing else but sorrow of heart. Then I was very sore afraid.
Yeah, because it's the king. You can't just say whatever. And Nehemiah, he's a mighty man. He's mighty. But you gotta understand, you know, when you're dealing with the heathen, you know, dealing with certain people, you gotta move in wisdom. Go ahead.
Verse 3. And said unto the king, let the king live forever. Why should not my countenance be sad? When the city and the place of my fathers' scepters lieth waste, and the gates thereof are consumed with fire.
Right?
Verse 4. And the king said unto me, for what doest thou make request? So I prayed to the God of heaven. And I said unto the king, if it please the king, and if thy servants have found favor in thy sight, that thou wouldest send me into Judah and to the city of my father's scepters, that I may build it.
Right, so that's what he's asking for. And let's keep reading to see what happens.
Verse 6. And the king said unto me, the queen also sitteth by him, for how long shall thy journey be, and when wilt thou return? So it pleased the king to send me, and I set him a time.
Right, they down with it, they cool, but how long are you going to be gone? You're a cupbearer. You're still in captivity. Go ahead.
Verse 7. Moreover, I said unto the king, if it please the king, let letters be given me to the governors beyond the river, that they may convey me over till I come into Judah. And a letter unto Asaph, the keeper of the king's forest.
So he's the keeper of the king's forest. Go ahead.
That he may give me timber to make beams.
That he may give me timbers to make beams. Where did we just read that where the king gave him certain money and things of that nature?
Was that an article?
You trying to go back to that article, King? So we can line everything up perfectly. He provided them with funds to rebuild their temple, right? And funds isn't always money. That could just be materials, like the brother said. So it says, I'll read the rest. May give me timber to make beams for the gates of the palace which appertain to the house, and for the wall of the city, and for the house that I shall enter into. And the king granted me, according to the good hand of my God upon me. Then I came to the governors beyond the river, and gave them the king's letter. Now the king has sent captains and an army of horsemen with him, right? So he did his thing through the spirit.
He came with a police escort, for lack of a better term.
Literally. But that's all I really wanted, unless you was going to do something.
As far as them giving things to them, I'm trying to find another one on that. But I actually want to go into them trying to actually stop the building of the temple.
Yeah. It happened a few times, man.
And Ezra and Nehemiah.
You can get Nehemiah chapter, I highlighted it. Chapter 6, verse 10.
The book of Nehemiah, chapter 6 and verse 10. And it reads, afterward I came into the house of...
Slocky, because, I mean, it wasn't just all that easy. Still in slavery, still under the heathen. So, we wouldn't just go freely get the bill. And the heathen, of course, they try to frustrate that purpose.
That's right.
Nehemiah 6 and verse 10. Afterward I came into the house of Shemaiah, the son of Delaiah, the son of Mahabil, who was shut up, and said, let us meet together in the house of God,
Right.
within the temple, and let us shut the doors of the temple, for they will come to slay thee. Yea, in the night will they come to slay him.
So this is a trap. Go ahead.
Verse
They're trying
11.
to snare him. They're trying to lure him into death. You continue.
And I said, should such a man as I flee, who is there? That being I as I am, would go into the temple to save his life, I would not go in.
Hey, I ain't no punk, man. Whatever it is, yeah, I face it. You know, go ahead. Hey, he got the faith of the Lord on his side. He could have said, all right, I'm scared. Let's get in there. Hey, you know, he's standing his ground. You continue.
And lo, I perceive that God have not sent him, but that he pronounced this prophecy against me. For Tobiah and Sanballat had hired him.
And he was a hired assassin. And who was Sanballat and the other man? You can go to Nehemiah chapter.
Actually, Israelites, huh?
You said what?
One of them was an Israelite trying to. One of them actually was Israel.
Tobiah was definitely the Ammonite. Might be Sanballat.
Yeah, he was an Israelite. I'm trying to find that.
You can get Nehemiah 2 and 10.
The book of Nehemiah, chapter 2, and verse 10.
I'll figure that out. Read.
And it reads, when Sanballat the Horonite and the Ammonite heard of it, it grieved them exceedingly that there was come a man to seek the welfare of the children of Israel.
It grieved them exceedingly, right? And remember, you had coons. You had coons that swore to Tobiah, right? Because, you know, he got himself in there. He was pretty much in the temple of the Lord for real. You read about that in Nehemiah the 13th chapter. So that's just one of many accounts that I'm trying to destroy the temple and hinder the work.
What in the world?
Someone wait a second.
You can get, I got a precept. You can get Ezra chapter 5, verse 2.
The book of Ezra, chapter 5, and verse 2. And it reads, then rose up Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, and Jeshua, the son of Josedek, and began to build the house of God, which is at Jerusalem. And with them were the prophets of God helping them.
Go ahead.
He wasn't. He was married to the Israelites. So
Yep, he was married to that, I think,
Sanballat.
Meshullam's daughter-in-law, or it's like your daughter.
Sanballat.
You continue.
Verse 3. Ezra chapter 5, verse 3. At the same time came to them Tanah, governor of this side the river, and Sethor Bosna and their companions, and said thus unto them, who have commanded you to build this house and to make up this wall.
Go ahead.
Then said we unto them after this manner, what are the names of the men that make this building? But the eye of their God was upon the elders of the Jews, that they could not cause them to cease.
And they could not cause them to cease. Go ahead.
Till the matter came to Darius, and then they returned, answered by letter concerning this matter.
So the point is, everybody didn't want Israel to build up the wall, the temple, the house of the Lord. You know, they were just niggas, man. And this is another one, the second Ezra, but you got it.
I appreciate it. Get Ezra 4 and verse 4. All right, going to them trying to stop this damn wall from being built. All right.
The book of Ezra, chapter 4, verse 4. Then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah and troubled them in building.
Right, they troubled them in building, read.
Verse 5. And hired counselors against them to frustrate their purpose. All the days of Cyrus, king of Persia.
Right, so although Cyrus gave the proclamation and the decree, we didn't even finish the building during his reign because they stopped the purpose of it. Right? Read.
All the days of Cyrus, king of Persia, even until the reign of Darius, king of Persia.
You see that even to the reign of Darius, the king of Persia. Because let's look up Cyrus and let's see his reign. Right, let's see how long Cyrus reigned. So we just trying to build our temple, and the damn heathen want to stop it, man. He reigned from 600 BC to about 530 BC. So we didn't finish the temple as soon as we down got there, man. Right? It had took some time because they wouldn't let us build the temple. Now, I want to figure out Google of when was the second temple built.
Built in Jerusalem.
Yeah, that's not the one that I want. Is it? Right, so it was built way after. I want to get a point here.
That's when it was finished.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a point here. It's actually tell you in the scriptures on find that exact precept. It's like, yeah. It's in Nehemiah actually tell you when it was finished. The exact year during Darius' reign. Because that's what 516 BC. Go to just Google Persian kings. They give you a quick list of the Persian kings. And you will see it's during Darius' reign. If you look up Persian kings, it'll be a list of them. From Cyrus the Great on down to Darius III. Right? And Darius II, Darius the so-called Great, during his reign, the temple was built. So they frustrated the purpose from Cyrus the Great all the way to Darius.
Is it 6 and 15? That's what 6 and 15.
It might. Does that say like during the second year it was done, something like that? You said 6 and 15.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. That's it right there. You can start at 14.
The book of Ezra, chapter 6, verse 14.
Right.
And the elders of the Jews built it, and they prospered through the prophesying of Haggai, the prophet, and Zechariah, the son of Iddo, and they built it and finished it.
Right now, slacking out real quick. Notice it said through the prophesying of Haggai and Zechariah, because they came on the scene to prophesy to the Israelites to give them that strength to build the temple. Right? So that's why it's important to understand the history. Like, why was Haggai on the scene? He was on the scene with Nehemiah and Ezra. Right? Nehemiah and Ezra was all on the scene with Zechariah. They was all there together.
Haggai.
Right? They were all on the scene
Zerubbabel.
together.
All contemporaries.
Right? All, like you said, contemporaries. Now, I want to actually get,
Zerubbabel.
I believe Zechariah real quick. I want to get some Zechariah. I get Zechariah chapter 1. Hold that, get Zechariah chapter 1. And let's start at you can start at verse 12.
Zechariah chapter 1 and verse 12.
All right.
Then the angel of the Lord answered and said, O Lord of hosts, how long wilt thou not have mercy on Jerusalem and on the cities of Judah, against which thou hast had indignation these 70 years?
All right.
And the Lord answered the angel that talked with me with good words and comfortable words.
Right, he gave Zechariah comfortable words. That's what Zechariah was doing to the Israelites, man. Building a spirit, putting them on fire to build the temple. Right, because they was left oppression to get freely built the temple, and they still was oppressing them. Right, read.
So the angel that communed with me said unto me, Cry thou, saying, Thus said the Lord of hosts, I am jealous for Jerusalem and for Zion with a great jealousy.
Right.
I am very sore and displeased with the heathen that are at ease.
Right.
For I was but a little displeased, and they helped forth the affliction.
Right, he said, I'm going to oppress you for 70 years in Babylon. Right, then he said, all right, I'm going to have Darius' heart stirred up so he can build up the temple. And they kept forwarding the affliction even afterwards, man. They kept afflicting Israel. And they supposed to be building the temple back. He said, all right, I gave them their 70-year punishment. Now you're forwarding the affliction. Right, so the Lord was with us and helped build us up so we could get this temple built, man. Right there in Zechariah and Haggai. That's why they were on the scene. Right, so get Ezra 4:14 again. Right, that's why they was on the scene, man.
The book of Ezra chapter 4 or 6.
Oh yeah, it's like 6 and 14. So,
The book of Ezra, chapter 6, verse 14.
all right.
And the elders of the Jews built it, and they prospered through the prophesying of Haggai the prophet and Zechariah the son of Iddo. And they built it and finished it according to the commandment of the God of Israel, and according to the commandment of Cyrus and Darius and Xerxes king of Persia.
All right.
And this house was finished on the 3rd day of the month Adar, which was in the 6th year of the reign of Darius the king.
Right, the 6th year of Darius reigned king, give or take, right? 522, 515 BC. All right, so that's when it was finished, man. About 515, what was that? 516, 515, it said BC, something like that, when the temple was built. What was this?
516 BC.
Yeah. All right, so it said the 6th year. You see that? So the Bible links up perfectly with history. I got any more on that? So we'll touch on Xerxes and right, so we ended up building the temple during that reign. Now, get Daniel 11. Let's get the book of Daniel chapter 11, and start the first verse.
Daniel. The book of Daniel, chapter 11, and verse 1.
Right?
And it reads,
So Lord willing, brothers got all those dates, man. Right?
Also I, in the 1st year of Darius the Medes, even I stood to confirm and to strengthen him.
Right?
And now will I shew thee the truth. Behold, there shall stand up yet 3 kings in Persia, and the 4th shall be far richer than they all.
Right, so this is the list of the kings of Persia. Now, in between Cambyses and Darius, you actually got Bridea. Right, he was a lesser king. He didn't rule that long, so he's not even listed. But that's the 3 kings that stood up. Right, from Cambyses, Darius, Bardea, and then you got Xerxes. That's the 4th king. All right.
Quick point. Can you go back to that article, sure? The world history one?
Yeah, they brought it up. Yeah.
It says,
What's the blood is?
you got to go up just a tad
That
bit.
first part here I read.
Here we get it. Closer, go up, more, a little bit more.
Was in that first part? Yeah, I remember it. I don't know if you scroll up or down from there. I remember seeing it. Where they said scholars argue between who reigned at next.
Oh, we gotta go further down, Sloppy.
I know you scrolled up.
Go up just a tiny bit. There we go. It says, in the second, I think that's the second sentence.
Yeah.
Cambyses the second is said to have been assassinated, selected to have Satan.
No, scholars right there. Continue.
Cambyses is said to have assassinated his brother named Scotland. Where's Bardian?
Yeah, it's above that.
Oh,
Scholars.
okay. It's like it. Scholars continue to debate the identity of his successor, as it could either be his brother, Bardea, or a Median usurper named Gappa. But more than likely it was Bardea.
Right. So that was the 3 kings that stood up. Where Daniel was talking about, and then go back to that list. So the 4th king would have been Xerxes, the 1st, right? That was far richer than them all, right? And read that again, Daniel 11:2.
Daniel 11, verse 2. Or we want to start at verse 1 again.
Now you can just read verse 2.
Verse 2. And now will I shew thee the truth.
Right?
Behold, there shall stand up yet 3 kings in Persia,
Right?
and the 4th shall be far richer than they all.
Like the 4th was far richer than them all. That's Xerxes the 1st. Right, read.
He shall stir up all against the realm of Grecia.
Right, the realm of Grecia. That's going into, when you see that movie 300, that's going into that, the Battle of Thermopylae, when they fought against the realm of Grecia. Because before Alexander the Greek came, Greece was a bunch of city-states. Athens, Sparta, Corinth, Troy, all these different places. They was Macedon. These was different city-states. And he brought them together. Right, so Persia, he wanted to conquer Macedon. He was trying to further his kingdom, like past Lydia through to Greece in that area. So he tried to fight against it. And you read about that in you see that in the movie 300. Like the Persians was coming through with the immortals and all that. That was Xerxes,
Yep.
right? The richest king. Remember he stepped out, he had all that gold, and he told my man you can get whatever you want. That's Xerxes. He was the richest king. And I want to get a point in that in Esther, real quick. Esther, the first chapter. This is going into Xerxes, the first, just to show the riches of this man, right? He was richer than all the Persian kings.
It said Esther.
One, start at first verse.
I watched your video like a week ago going into why they called them the immortals. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mighty army. One died, another one pop up.
Literally.
Because they had an infinite number, right? Bring that out, 1 and 1.
The book of Esther, chapter 1, verse 1.
Right? Pull up that map of the Persian Empire too. Just so we can. Hey, so the Bible links up perfectly with history. Thought it was up still.
Yeah, this is a history book as well. A book of prophecy, you know, dark parables.
Alright?
Got the Gospels, history,
Yeah, that's good.
kings.
Alright, yeah, bring it out.
The book of Esther, chapter 1, verse 1. Now it came to pass
Oh, hell, bro.
in the days of
Right.
And it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus, this Ahasuerus which reigned from India even into Ethiopia,
India all the way to Ethiopia, right? Which is Kush down there, right? All from India all the way to Ethiopia, right? That's what he reigned, right? Keep reading. It says over 100.
over 107 provinces.
Right, so he had 127 provinces, all in his empire. Xerxes, right? Read.
That in those days, when the king Ahasuerus sat on the throne of his kingdom, which was in Shushan the palace,
Right, Shushan the palace, right? Elamite, read.
in the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast unto all his princes and his servants, the power of Persia and Media, the nobles and princes of the provinces being before him.
Right, so he made a feast for everybody in his palace. Read.
And when these days were expired, the king made a feast.
That's like,
What's
you know,
like, I read
the fourth verse.
Verse 6.
No, you on the fourth verse.
Oh, it's like verse 4.
Yeah.
When he shewed the riches of his glorious kingdom,
When he did what?
when he shewed the riches of his glorious
He
kingdom,
showed the riches of his kingdom because he was far richer than they all, read.
and the honor of his excellent majesty many days, even 180 days.
180-day feast. Imagine you feasting for 180 days, man. That's damn near half a year.
Yeah.
Feasting. They turning up, man. You know, they got their false gods, they got the damn temple prostitutes, and they got gold and silver, and they drinking, having a damn wicked ass good time, man.
Freaking off.
Madness.
Right? Having a time of madness and folly, man. Right? And but that just shows the riches that he had. He was so rich, he was able to have a 180-day feast. Jacob broke his hell on the feast day. Jacob broke his hell one day for a couple hours. You feasting for 180 days. Probably 200 people in the feast. Probably was 2,000. He probably a trillionaire.
Partying.
All day, non-stop drinking and just having a crazy, wicked time. And it actually tells you that when you keep reading. Jump to verse jump to verse 7. Check this out.
Verse 7.
Right?
And they, Esther chapter 1, verse 7. And
Right.
they gave them drink in vessels of gold.
Right, and they had everybody drinking out of gold vessels.
The vessels being diverse one from another.
Every one was a different cup. They all had gold cups, but they all was different, man. Like his got something like this, his got something like that.
Party cook.
Right? Keep reading.
Right.
And royal wine in abundance,
In abundance, read.
according to the state of the king.
Right, according to the state of the king, read.
And the drinking was according to the law. None did compel.
Right?
For the king had appointed to all the officers of his house that they should do according to every man's pleasure.
Right, so you can drink as much as you want, man.
Do what you want, man.
Do whatever, man. For 180 days, that's the riches of his kingdom. And you know they heathen, so they were just freaking off, man. Right, but nonetheless, that shows the riches that he had, that everybody got different gold cups, and you can drink according to your pleasure. Get as drunk as you want, man.
They don't know how to love their brothers. Just watching brothers get drunk. It's off.
They probably drunk the other half.
Yeah.
So that's the riches of the kingdom of Persia. And that's where Esther comes from. She's actually a concubine of the king, right? She really was queen, but she ain't really like it, man.
She ain't that title.
Yeah, she hated that title. That's how our people gotta be, man. You might get set up in a society, but you gotta abhor your good estate, man.
Like, dang.
Right? That's them Xerxes, man. Damn Xerxes, man.
Camel.
Hell no, man. The Xerxes right there, man. Notice it's only one of them, man. The Persians, they don't wear gold, man.
He don't even look right with gold.
Yeah, he look. He
Like a
don't
cheese
do it.
ball. He look like a bootleg Jake.
It's like a cheese ball.
He look like a bootleg Jake.
He ain't doing it right, man.
No, he's not.
Hell no.
It's like a old cheese ball.
Why you ain't got no gold in your teeth?
It doesn't look right. Shit, I don't know.
You don't on that. So yeah, Xerxes was the far richest king, and he raised up the kingdom of the Greeks against him, and yeah. So from there, we can actually continue reading Daniel 11,
Daniel chapter 11
verse 3.
and verse 3.
All right.
And a mighty king shall stand up,
And a mighty king shall stand up.
that shall rule with great dominion,
It's like it. Verse 3?
Yeah, 3.
Okay, kind of.
All right.
and do according to his will.
All right, now who is that mighty king that came up?
Alexander.
That's Alexander the Great, man. The Greek. Right? Alexander, man. That guy, the Macedonian. He came up. And he smitten Darius the third. That's who he smoked. I get that in 1 Maccabees 1:1. Alexander came up. And this is going into a whole nother captivity.
The book of 1 Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 1.
Right?
So I can. And it happened
And it happened, talking about the prophecy. All the prophecies that's in Daniel. Right, read?
after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian.
Right, because he came from Macedon. He came from Macedon, right? Let's pull that up. Pull up map. The rival of the Greeks. Check that out. Look up a map of Macedon. That's what I really want, a map of Macedon. Macedonian Empire, yeah. And I want to see if it's gonna show the whole Middle East. Yeah, check it out.
No, it's not.
You know, if you go to.
That's good. Scroll down.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't know why it's
We
moving.
show you
Yeah,
on
why it's moving?
worldhistory.org too.
Oh, it's a map of it on there.
Yeah, it show you all the maps. It's conquest, everything.
Hey, we gotta have to pull that up. But just look at that first map. It's like
Battle of Guatemala.
that first little top spot in the red.
Oh, that is it.
Yeah, that's Macedon. That little top spot in the red, that's over there. That's Macedon. That's where he came from. Into Lydia, he went down to Persia. Well, he got the map. Pull up the map that you got with the show the conquest.
It's on the same web. You gotta scroll up, King.
Oh, you don't own the website.
Yeah,
You
I'm
you
on
on there. You just gotta go to the other way.
You want to go to the search. Closest
You gotta
connections
post
at the
them
top.
That's fine.
Probably.
Type in Alexander.
And you know why they call him Alexander the Great? Because before so-called white man came about,
It was not.
I mean, before Alexander came about, the white man, he wasn't doing big things. Like, we read about the Assyrians. Like, you read about the Babylonians,
Maps.
the Persians. They was doing big things, man.
Like the Dukes of Edom.
He their
But-
biggest king.
But Alexander came through,
Greatest king.
This one.
and he was their greatest king, like the brother said.
You can do
Hey,
I mean, that's his empire. Does that show his conquest?
that.
It does, kind of.
That's fire.
The
If you look
conquest.
real close, yeah, scroll in. From Macedon at the top, go to the left.
That's fire right there.
Okay, check that out. From Macedon. He had many battles. Right? Keep reading First Maccabees real quick.
Yep.
First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 1.
And it showed the different battles. That's mighty.
And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, and
Right. He went down to Egypt too, right? He came out of the land of Shittim because that's over there in that land where the Japhites come from. Right? Keep reading.
had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes,
Right?
and he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece,
Right. He was the first king of Greece. Right. Keep reading.
and made many wars,
And he did what?
and made many
Right.
wars,
These are many wars. Right. Scroll. Follow that map. Go down to Egypt. He went down to Egypt. Right. He fought there. Right. He fought in Gaza. Right. He went to Egypt. He didn't have to fight because they opened it with open doors and welcomed him as a pharaoh. Then he went back up and was fighting in the heartland all the way to. He even fought in Opis. Right? And he ended up conquering Darius in one of these battles. Look up Alexander versus Darius. Right? I believe it had to be like 334, 333. And this was like battle after battle. You look at the dates, it say 333, 333, 330, like he was going crazy. Right, the battle of Guatemala. It was in 331 BC. Right? This is so I can delete that. It says the Battle of Gaugamela, also called the Battle of Umbella, battle in which Alexander the Free completed his conquest of Darius III's Persian Empire. It was an extraordinary victory achieved against numerically superior army on guard chosen by the Persians. Right? So they had a bigger army. But the way that Alexander was set up, he kind of did his thing, man. Right? And the Lord actually was helping Alexander. Even you read that during the Battle of Tyre. It seems it's chariots.
Straight to war.
Right? Right, that point.
You can go back to worldhistory.org. Type in you just go back and type in just go back, it should pop up. Go back one. Alright, scroll down. You click on the map of the Battle of Guatemala.
This right, but lower than that.
Lower.
All right, there. The Battle of Guatemala. Just to show his battle strategy.
It literally shows battle strategy information, man. Because again, when you go on a war, can you get that Luke 14:23? Probably sure. When you go on a war, you can't be an asshole and just excuse my French, but you can't just be, a knucklehead and just, all right, let's go in there, guns blazing. You got two swords, he got two in his hand. Going to just go in guns blazing. You have to really be like a war strategist. You have to have a military mind. It's like chess.
Yeah.
When you play chess, you can't just say, okay, they can just attack. Oh, it's defensive. It's different. Brother know about it. Brother tell you.
The Lord said He gonna defend Jerusalem as birds fly, and the birds fly in V formation.
Yep.
It's coming like that.
And that's and more than likely, you probably pick that up watching the animals.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother precept.
Esau free with that.
Yeah.
Freaky boy.
Yeah.
Luke 14.
20. Yeah, you start at. You get 23.
The book of Luke, chapter 14, verse 23.
Right?
And the Lord said unto the servant, you sure that's it?
Yeah.
And the Lord said unto the servant, go out into the highways and hedges,
Right.
and compel them to come in, that my house may be filled.
You keep going down.
For I say unto you, that none of those men which were bidden shall taste of my supper.
Right.
Verse 25. And there were great multitudes with him, and he turned and said unto them, if any man come to me, and hate not his father and mother, and his wife and children,
It's the point of all of this.
and brother and sister, yea, in his own life also, he cannot be my disciple.
Go ahead.
And whosoever doeth not bear his cross and come after me, cannot be my disciple.
Now I'm about to get to the point. Keep going.
Verse 28. For which of you intended to build a tower, sitteth not down first and counted the cost?
Yeah, you got to count the costs, right? Of course, we in the truth, but also applies in other situations in life. Continue.
Whether he have sufficient to finish it.
Mm-hmm.
Lest happily after he had laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, or that beholdeth it began to mock him.
Ain't nobody mocked that Nehemiah and Ezra and Zerubbabel, right? They laid the foundation and they finished it, right? So when you read Nehemiah, Ezra, you read about the acts of Zerubbabel, and you look at them and say, okay, they laid the foundation, they continued to do the work to the very end, after the very same, right? After they count the cost of materials. Go ahead.
Verse 30, saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish.
Right? And you don't want to be that guy in the truth. You put down your brick, now you just stop going out. You just stop reading. You stop studying. You stop going out on Friday and Saturday. You just, hey, now everybody's marking at you. Remember, he used to be a mighty man. Hey, man, he used to bring out this precept. He used to bring out that. He made a lot of good points. Now you know, your name is done.
And your family mock at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said, I knew it was a phase.
Yeah. Oh,
You could get it through 15 years. They're like, glad you got that coat, man.
And you sit there like, man, yeah.
Yeah, you right. Yeah, that was silly. I
was tripping, though.
I was tripping, though.
Damn.
That sucks.
Reprobate, man.
So you gotta come to cross being that truth. You gonna go through hell. You gonna go through poverty. Your woman gonna get at you. You know, you gotta deal with everything. You gotta count the cost and deal with it.
Some brothers, you know, you might count the truth with your ribs. Some brothers, damn, gotta leave your ribs leave you, man.
Yeah.
Oh, hell be breaking loose, man.
Yeah, great.
Luke 14 and verse 31, the point. Or what king go to make war against another king, sitteth not down first, and consulted whether he be able with 10,000 to meet him that cometh against him with 20,000.
So Esau isn't always a fool. You know, he's wise. It tell you that Tyrus is wise. Ezekiel 28.
Yeah.
Yep. He's wiser than Daniel.
Yep.
You know. So Esau, he's a war strategist. He was blessed with the sword.
That's right.
Right? So
Just
you're gonna know how to do battle. There's the Edomites. They wasn't blessed with the sword. Yeah, they have power and they have money, right? They have land, but they weren't blessed with the sword.
All right.
So Alexander, you know, he was on another level compared to Darius.
That's why even when you look at the statue of Daniel, you had the head of gold, and you got the silver. When they get to Esau, it's them strong metals, brass, iron. You know what I'm saying? Because they blessed with the sword, man. And they ain't got the most beautiful palaces like Elon. You got the blue and this and that, and cups with different colors. And Esau ain't had that. Alexander didn't have different cups with different colors, man.
Sheets.
Right? He didn't do that, man.
He was down there naked.
Right? He fought naked.
And
that'll mess you up in the head if somebody coming towards you naked. It didn't have you like, what's wrong with this guy?
And I was gonna say, I'm led to believe that the Persians have more military like soldiers than this.
They did. They said that.
They had the immortals.
They said they had more. Slaki, Shema. It said they had more soldiers. It said they was outnumbered in this battle. We can even see it. Scroll up. They outnumbered, but he still defeated their lines with his military strategy.
Where is he?
Right, you can see the red is the Persians. They're clearly outnumbered.
Oh, yeah,
Look
they
how many
outnumbered.
it is.
You trying to slow down a little bit more?
It was like that in the movie 300. It was all outnumbered.
Yeah, Spartans did their thing. still.
Hold on, go up a little bit. Type you can click that one.
Right here.
Yeah.
Yep, this battle of Gargamella. This is what you read about in First Maccabees 1:1.
It says Alexander drew his army up in battle order. Right? So it was an order in how they battled. And whilst the bulk of his troops cautiously advanced, he personally led a contingent of horsemen and light infantry against these Persians. Scattering them, taking prisoners, he deduced from his captives that Darius was awaiting him in Guatemala, a small besides Luminos.
See that?
You know?
You can look up these battles and they got videos and stuff in different channels.
What's that
That
called?
show you
Kings
this
and
stuff,
Kings and Generals. That's
Right,
the
it'll
classic.
show you the battles, man. Right, you even say with Darius, he had what? 10 or
He had although the fear of 1,000,000 infantry and 40,000 cavalry.
goodness gracious.
You gotta read about that in Maccabees.
Check that out. That's the war stuff. And see, Darius, look at the Persians. They just lined up like straight up.
Yeah,
And look at Alexander. He did some things, man.
you know.
He did some stuff. And look, they going this way. We gonna go this way. We gonna take this way. He damn mapped it out like a damn football coach, man.
Right,
So we gonna do this, and you gonna go this
That's why
way.
these some good coaches, man.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
That's all football is. That's just like
Good
in war
coaches
formation.
and good quarterbacks.
Yeah, they be drawing the routes and look at them. They going this way. Look, he got them going this way. He like, we gonna do this so you can take them away, and then we gonna attack the middle. That's what they doing.
That's that sword. That's that blessing with the sword.
They still do it like that today in the U.S. We draw it up, but they drew it out. We spend more time planning than actually,
See what the brother that said? The brother from the, he military.
Oh
said,
yeah, that's right.
He said America do more time drawing out the plan before actually battling.
Wow.
Right, get that in get Proverbs 20 and 18.
The
Right.
book of Proverbs, chapter 20 and verse 18.
Right?
Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 18. Every purpose is established by counsel, and with good advice make war.
You said with good advice, strategy, you will make war, man.
Who was that precept?
That's,
Proverbs 20 and verse 18.
See, you go to Exodus 13 and 3, or 13 and 1.
Exodus 13 to 3.
The book of Exodus, right? Chapter 13 and said verse 3.
Yep, that's it.
All right, come. It reads, bear with me. The book of Exodus, chapter 13 and verse 3. And Moses said unto the people, remember this day in which ye came out of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. For by
13 and 1.
the book of Exodus, chapter 13 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, sanctify unto me all the firstborn, whatsoever openeth the womb among the children of Israel, both man and of beast, both of man and of beast, it is mine. And Moses said unto the people, remember
It's like in Exodus 15 and 3.
the book of Exodus, chapter 15 and verse 3. The Lord is a man of war.
See that the Lord is a man of war. Go ahead. Oh no, that's already it said on that. Right, the Lord is a man of war, man. So if we read about the wars in history of the world, right?
Like these major wars and battles is all in the scriptures. The Lord is dealing with. Right, so after Alexander, you had some other things going on. Get Daniel 11. Where we left off, we on Daniel 11 and verse 4. So after Alexander, the first reigning king, we got some other stuff going on. Right, bring that up.
Daniel 11.
Yeah, Daniel 11, verse 4.
The book of Daniel, chapter 11 and verse 4.
Right?
And when he shall stand up, his kingdom shall be broken.
Right? And once Alexander stood up, his kingdom was broken because he died. Right, read?
And shall be divided toward the four winds of heaven.
Right? That's going into 4 different kingdoms. Right?
And not to his posterity, nor according to his dominion,
Right,
which
so
he ruled.
so it wasn't the same dominion that he ruled, right? Or it wasn't to any of his posterity. It was actually to different generals that went to war after him, right? Go in there, type in the wars of Diadashi, right? Wars of.
Hey, this is a new website.
Want to put it up on there?
Yeah, you gotta put that up on the website, King.
The one I was just on?
Yeah, worldhistory.org.
Yeah, that one.
This right here.
Yep. Scroll up.
So I search it up right here or scroll up?
Scroll up, search in the search bar. Wars of the Diadashi. You gotta close this message all the time. Wars of. This is D-I. Oh, what is it?
Like
Something
that?
That's not it, but it might pop up. Click.
Okay.
Scroll down.
Scroll down to where it say
Put that first one.
Scroll down to where it say the successor wars.
The successor wars. Scroll down to that part.
This is gonna take a minute to get into it.
Search
Hold on.
for.
Yeah, but go up one more, select it. Oh no, go down, select. Down, downtown. Hold up, go up.
That's just it right here?
You gonna go up, yeah, that one.
Right here?
Yep. So
Read
we'll
this.
start from the second census. From 323 to 281 BCE, the intense competition between the commanders would escalate as they wrestled for the control of Greece, Macedon, Asia Minor, Egypt, Central Asia, Mesopotamia, and India. Although there would be brief periods of peace, because that's essentially what happened when he gave up the ghost, or when he died, I would say. You know, there was brief periods of peace. The empires would never be reunited. In the end, there was only one solution. The partition of Babylon divided Alexander's kingdom among the more prominent commanders. Right? It says Antipater, we're gonna break it down. Crassus received Macedonia and Greece. Ptolemy grabbed Egypt, disposing Cleomenes. The bodyguard Lysimachus was awarded Thrace. Eumenes gained Cappadocia, and lastly Antigonus, the one-eyed, remained in Greater Phrygia. But it gets a little bit more specific and, narrows it down when you scroll down.
Right. So it's really Lysimachus, Seleucus,
And yeah,
Cassander, and Ptolemy.
and that's why, and to tell you it was really only true four successors. The four successor wars centered on the aspirations of three individuals, since go into all of that folly, but what does it say? There we go. From Alexander's death in 323 to the death of Lysimachus. I thought it was somewhere else too. I have to find it. But that was pretty much it.
And like I said, the kingdom was never reunited because the Ptolemaic dynasty always was fighting with the Seleucid dynasty. Scroll up real quick. Scroll up on here on the map. Scroll all the way up. It should be a map at the beginning. I think it was a map. Yeah, click that map right there. See if you can open up that map. All right, scroll in. All right, you see that's Ptolemy right there.
Right here.
Yeah, that's Ptolemy. You got Cassander.
Okay, yeah.
That's Samatius. You got Seleucus, and then you got Ptolemy right there. Ptolemy, Seleucus, Lysimachus, and Cassander.
And Seleucus really ended up taking the spot, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the whole Seleucus Empire. Go to Wikipedia real quick. And type in see what happens if you type in Ptolemaic. Yeah. Or type in Wars of the Diadochi. It might pop up with that. Alright. It's D-I.
D-I-A-D-O-C-H-I.
Yeah.
Wait, sir?
D-I-A-D-O-C-H-I.
Should pop up. Alright. Right, click that first one. It's also known as the Wars of Alexander. Yeah, click that map right there. Like you said, he took his spot. See what I'm saying?
Mm.
Right. Yeah. So that's Ptolemy. And it actually should be a little color coordinator on that side. On the side right there.
I don't know why I won't.
It's not showing up. But you see Cassander, Lysimachus, Ptolemy, and Seleucus. Right, those was the four main ones. Like, read Daniel 11. Again, read Daniel 11, verse 4.
The book of Daniel, chapter 11 and verse 4. And when he shall stand up, his kingdom shall be broken, and shall be divided toward the four winds of heaven.
Right, the four winds, right? So that's the four winds, the four different nations it was divided on. Now, the main nations was Ptolemy and Seleucus. Seleucus is is north of Israel, so that's the king of the north you read about in Daniel 11. And the king of the south will be the Ptolemaic dynasty. All right, so Seleucus is the king of the north, Ptolemy is the king of the south. Depending on what period you read in Daniel 11, it's going into those particular kings. From Ptolemy the first all the way down. From Seleucus the first all the way down to Antiochus. Right now, Antiochus, he started the Hellenization of the Jews. So while they warned against each other, we just in our land, building a temple, whatever the case may be, we got to pay tribute to these kings, but it was never anything crazy like it got with Antiochus, right? So we was in slavery, we had to pay taxes, but nobody came and took away our rights into Antiochus, right? So get that in, you can get that in the First Maccabees 1, real quick. All right, going into the Greece. So things wasn't really cracking off with Israel into Antiochus. Right, so I'm trying to find the exact precept. Try verse, 12 or 13.
What it say?
First Maccabees chapter 1 at verse, it's like verse 10. Or actually start at 7,
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 7.
right?
So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died.
Right? That's 323 BC all the way to 281 BC. Well, he died in 223 BC. All the way to 281 BC, they was warned to separate these lands. Right, Reed?
And his servants bare rule every one in his place.
Right?
And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years. And evils were multiplied in the earth.
Right, so once the so-called white man took over the known world, that's when evils got multiplied in the earth, man. That's when things got extra wicked, man. Right, because even during the Ptolemaic dynasty, they was the so-called pharaohs, right? They took over the mantle of pharaoh because they don't have any heritage. So they'll take the heritage and culture of these other nations, right? And I forgot what the Persians was, but they'll take over their gear and they customs too. That's what
The
they was doing.
Edomites.
Right? Yeah, the Edomites.
And you see that with in Esther with Haman.
Yeah, see that? He was there, man. Right? Haman. Chilling with damn Xerxes.
And he go back to Alexander.
Now a lot of them Persians now they look white, you know.
Well, not Alexander. He go back to a Macedonian, a Greek.
Yeah.
And Edomites really supposed to be dark.
Yeah.
Or I think Esau kind of occupied the land. That's the point I'm making. And now they call themselves Persians or Ishmael.
Yeah. Folly, man.
They would have been dark, but Esau took over.
The East Indians, Elam, they're Persian.
Yeah.
Like we went into that earlier. Like they get dark.
Even in the movie 300, Xerxes was dark.
Yeah.
It was
Keep
dark.
reading.
Come. Verse 9. Salaki. Verse 10.
Yeah.
And there came out of them a wicked woo.
A who?
A wicked woo.
A wicked root came out of the kings of the four. Right? One wicked demonic man. Right? Keep reading.
Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes.
Right, that's Antiochus the fourth. Right? Look up Antiochus the fourth. Right? Antiochus the fourth, man. This guy. Alright? This, to me, in my opinion, is the most wicked man that exists.
Yeah.
If I must say so myself, that's speaking as a man, I feel like he's the most wicked man that ever walked the earth. Go to scroll down, go to Wikipedia. Right, go to that with the Wikipedia one. It's under there, right there. Right, so Antiochus, he reigned from 175 BC. Right, scroll down to 164 BC. Right? Antiochus, accession to the throne, I'm in the second paragraph. Antiochus' ascension to the throne was controversial. And he was seen as a usurper by some. Nobody respected him as the king. Right, let's get that in Daniel 11. Right, get that in Daniel 11. Bear with me, I gotta find it. In verse 21. Daniel 11 and 21.
The book of Daniel, chapter 11 and verse 21.
Right?
And in his estate
Right?
shall stand up a vile person.
What is Antiochus?
A vile
A
person.
vile person stood up in the estate of the king before him, which was go over to the side. Scroll down. It'll show the successor. Or a processor.
Eupator. Antiochus Eupator.
That's the successor. The processor,
Oh, predecessor.
which was
The son of
Antiochus was the
Seleucus.
son of Seleucus the fourth.
You read
Right.
about that in Maccabees.
Yeah, he was a son of he raised the taxes and then he kind of got killed and then the throne was left for grabs. Right. So anyway, keep reading. A vile person, read.
Con, to whom they shall not give the honor of the kingdom.
He did not give the honor. They didn't give him the honor of the kingdom. Right. They did not give Antiochus the honor of the kingdom. Right. Read.
But he shall come in peaceably and obtain the kingdom by flattery.
He obtained the kingdom with flattering words. Right. I want to find that in this article here. Scroll up. Let me see. Scroll down. Maybe to rise to power. Scroll down to that rise to power. Right, rise to power.
Shema.
Shemai. Trying to find this. It actually shows that he was giving gifts to become the king. Somewhere on here.
Yeah, gifts.
Yeah, he obtained the kingdom by flatteries.
Oh yeah. That's in that book too.
It is. Try to find it in there. Scroll down. Scroll up. Not all this. It'll be above this. It'll be him coming into the throne. Antiochus ruling style. Okay, here it is. Ruling style. It said Antiochus IV cultivated a reputation as an extravagant and generous ruler. He scattered money to common people in the streets of Antioch, gave unexpected gifts to people he did not know, contributed money to the temple of Zeus at Athens and the altar of Delos, put all his Western military forces on a massive parade at Daphne. Right, so this man was obtaining the kingdom with flatteries, man. That's how he got the people's rule. That's how he got to the people.
Got that Trump spirit.
Right, and that's basically what he did. Because even when he destroyed the temple of Israel, he was using flatteries. He was telling people, look, man, you'll be the king's friend if you just sacrifice to this God.
He was doing that to the priest.
Yeah, that's why he got the priest on his side. He tried to do that to Mattathias.
And Esau still do that to this day.
Yeah, they do that to this day. That's the spirit of That's how you know this is the so-called white man. Right? Bring that up.
Atlas, it's like a Zondervan Atlas of the Bible, revised edition by Carl G. Ramusin. This is page 189. The chapter is titled "The Maccabean Revolt and the Hasmonean Dynasty." Paragraph 2. Paragraph 2. Antiochus Epiphanes did not encounter much difficulty in seizing the Seleucid throne after the assassination of Seleucus IV. To counter the rising threat of a powerful Rome, Antiochus attempted to solidify his kingdom by uniting its diverse elements. Some people's wit. And these gained more influence after Jason disposed the pious Onias III in 2 Maccabees 4 and 7, and had himself appointed high priest by bribing Antiochus. There's another one. Is this what you wanted, King?
No, that's not it. It was something else. I had to find it.
It's not charging.
Yeah, but nevertheless, there was a lot of bribery
Sleep.
going on.
No, it's a comment. It's 20%.
It says the official Judaism reached a low point. The high priest was sold to the highest bidder. That's wicked, man. You buying a seat to be a high priest? That's literally what Esau do. You read about all these things in Maccabees.
Second Maccabees
That's the
8 and 11.
Yep, that's that one. That's the other one.
Go back like 20 seconds.
The third of-
They had to reconnect.
Okay, John. I'll read that again. They attacked Jerusalem and attempted to dispose of Menelaus. Antiochus responded by beating back the attack and recapturing Jerusalem. In the process, thousands of Jews were killed or sold into slavery. And this is the precept where they were sold into slavery by the Grecians.
All right, the second Maccabees 8 and 11.
It's the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 8 and verse
It's
11.
talking about Nicanor, right, which was a general of the Seleucid Empire. Right, read.
Wherefore immediately he sent to the cities upon the sea coast,
Upon the sea coast,
proclaim sale
right,
of the captive
of
Jews.
the who?
The captive Jews.
Right, so he was on the sea coast proclaiming the sale of captive Jews. You got Jews getting sold into slavery, right, read?
And promising that they should have 80 bodies for 1 talent, not expecting the vengeance that was to follow upon him from the Almighty God.
You see that? So Nicanor was selling, they said for how much, what talent? Or for how many bodies?
And promising that they should have 80
That's
bodies
90 people for what?
for 1 talent.
Right, look up for 1 talent. Right, so he sold 90 Israelite men for 1 talent. Right? 1 talent of gold. See what that is. Let's see what 90 Jews was worth. Right? How much is it worth? Scroll down. at the bottom it say how much is a talent of gold worth. About $1 million. Is your life, is 90 men worth $1 million?
Hell no.
90 people worth $1 million?
Yes, man.
Like divide 90,
Israelites.
divide 90 from $1 million. What's that? Somebody pull up on their phone. What's 90 into $1 million?
Them 90 men can make a whole more than $1 million.
That's crazy. You sold 90 men for $1 million.
11,000.
So each man was worth 11,000.
I want more than
That's
that.
bad.
I'm poor.
11,000. 90 men was worth 11,000 each.
You're gonna get way more than $1 million out of them men.
Yeah.
That's just like slavery.
That's exactly what it is. They were selling them as slaves.
Like they would send up for like pennies.
Like for one talent of gold, 90 Jews, man. Let's go.
But they made trillions out of us from us though.
The Lord said he sold us for naught. Get Psalm 44 and 14.
44 and 12, I believe.
Okay.
The book of Psalm chapter 4. Hold on, bear with me, slide.
Like 12. Thou sellest our people for naught.
This is the book of Psalm chapter 44, verse 12. Thou sellest thy people for.
The Lord said he sold us for nothing, man. $11,000 dollars in today's money. One talent, 90 men. That's insane, man.
Not even worth your nothing.
Yeah.
Ain't worth nothing. Your body, your tongue worth more than like $1,000 to you. Right, your meal that you bite off worth more than that.
You can get 2 Maccabees chapter 3. You can start up at
This is what Antiochus was on during his reign. So Antiochus really kind of started the hardcore. He started Hellenization, basically. Matter of fact, well, yeah, I'll get this out to your precept.
start at verse 9.
The book of 2 Maccabees chapter 3 and verse 9. And when he was come to Jerusalem and had been courteous to Eve of the high priest of the city, he told what intelligence was given of the money, and declared whereof he came, and asked if these things were so indeed. Verse 10. Then the high priest that there was such money laid up for the relief of widows and fatherless children.
Alright, so they had their own treasury. You continue.
And
Like
some
for widows and fatherless children, by the way. Right?
and that sum of it belonged to
Oh, Slacky, start at verse 6. Start at verse 6. That's what I want.
Shalakia, 2 Maccabees 3 and verse 6, and told him that the treasury in Jerusalem was full of infinite sums of money, so that the multitude of their which did not pertain to the amount, Shalakia, to the account of the sacrifices was innumerable, and that it was possible to bring all into the king's hand.
And this is
He said we can get all that to you.
Zion
Man.
Atlas of the Bible.
And it's for the widows and fatherless.
Innumerable number though.
It says they backed the attack of recapturing Jerusalem. In the process, thousands of Jews were sold into slavery. The temple treasury was plundered.
Wow.
You know what's funny? They always making movies about a lost treasure, and they fall
That's-
into
Wait,
a cave, and they fall in there just a whole bunch of gold everywhere, like you can't even imagine it. Only thing is you can't get out.
It's a trash.
And I have one more.
You want to go out that way.
You mentioned Nicanor.
selling us off the shit. I ain't show Nicanor, like, it ain't, but that was him.
This first Maccabees chapter 3 verse 38. Then Lysis chose
You gotta
Ptolemy,
type in solutions
the son of Dormenes,
or general.
and Nicanor and Georgius, mighty men of the king's friend. Right? You know, be friend of the king, you do whatever you want to do. You get away with a lot of things. You know, that's these politicians. I know this politician. I know the governor. You know, when they're having sex parties.
I know
All
the
hell will
judge.
break loose.
Nicanor was under Darius too, King Darius.
That's how I know the judge spirit.
Precept.
My bad.
First Maccabees 1 and 10. I want to make a point in this. Because all this Hellenization didn't start until later in the Greek Empire. Not to say none of them wasn't doubles, but they actually more so feared the Lord. Even Israel, I believe Alexander, they showed him in their scriptures that he was prophesied about. So he understood he was prophesied in the scriptures. Right? Alexander knew that. Understand? So they didn't do nothing with it. They didn't. Of course, they had to pay tribute. There was vassal states, but they wasn't in hard bondage until Antiochus came with this Hellenization, forcing them to be Greek things. Right? So bring that up.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 10. And there came out of them a wicked whoop. Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king.
Right, he was son of Antiochus III, which they call Antiochus the Great. He's the one that actually defeated Ptolemy in the 5th Syrian War and won Israel, like the Levant area, because that used to be ruled by Ptolemy until his father came along. So that gave him reign to even get to that point, to even conquer further, oppress the Israelites. But keep reading.
Who had been in hostage at Rome.
Right, and you can read that if you look at his Wikipedia, it tell you he was a hostage at Rome, because basically Antiochus III, he had to make a treaty with the Romans, and part of the treaty he kind of had to put his son up as a hostage, right, which is Antiochus. That's why he wasn't ruling at first. He wasn't looked at as he was a usurper. Right, keep reading.
Year of the kingdom of the Greeks.
Right, so he reigned in 137th king, so 137 years within the empire. That's when this man comes along. That's when he starts oppressing, which is 175 BC to 164 BC. Now jump down to verse. Oh, you got a point? So I was gonna go into him oppressing Israel real fast.
No, you got it.
Go jump down to verse 29. This is after the 6th Syrian War, which was 2 different parts. I believe it started in I want to say 170 BC, and then it was 168 BC. 2 different wars. Where Antiochus he defeated the Egyptian or the Ptolemaic dynasty up to Alexander. Then he had to make a covenant with Rome or with them, and he tried to come back, and Rome shut it down. Right? That's pretty much how it went down. But bring this up.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 29.
Right?
And after 2 years, fully expired.
Right, after the war, 2 years after this war, right, read.
The king sent his chief collector of tribute unto the cities of Judah.
Right, and notice he's a collector of tribute. This is normal behavior for them to send a collector of tribute to get stuff out of the temple. Like, that's normal. That's how it was working with all the other kings of Greece. Right, but he did a little something different. Right, bring it up.
Who came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude.
Now that's already Jake knowing something sketchy, man. Right, you coming to collect tribute, it's a normal transaction, but why you got a whole army with you, man? Like, hold up, why you got an army of men with you?
They want to talk peaceably, like, look, I ain't trying to make.
Yeah, he talking peaceably, but you got an army with you. Jake knowing something like fishy, man. Like, wait a minute, man.
What the hell's going on?
We doing? Why he got all these people with him, man? That's why Jake, even when he in wickedness, doing damn drug deals and all that madness, like, I don't know who your friend. Like, why you bring? I thought you was coming alone, man. Like,
You got a wire on?
They can't kind of move up there. What's going on?
Y'all supposed to do a transaction. He got 13. It's you.
Yeah, it's like, hold up. I thought you were just collecting the tribute. Why you got a multitude, right? Keep reading.
It says, and he spake peaceably words unto them.
Right.
But all was deceit.
But what?
But all was deceit.
With the Arabs, Esau, though, man. Oh, man. Hey, the so-called white man is clearly Esau. Right? They always speak deceit. But war is in their heart. Right? Keep reading.
For when they had given him credits.
Right, they gave him credits. They gave him credit. Like, yeah, all right, he good, he good. We ain't got to be on guard no more. Right, read.
He fell suddenly upon the city.
Right.
And smote it very sore.
Right.
It destroyed much people of Israel.
Right, so he started destroying and slaying Israel. And start enforcing this doctrine upon them and start making them sacrifice to Zeus or they'd torture them, man. Right, that's what Antiochus was doing.
Can you get I'll read it real quick. This Psalms, just to let me back. Psalms 51, 55 and 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet they drawn swords.
Who was that talking about?
Yet were they drawn swords.
What else is this talking about?
It's not. It's not Elam. It's not the Moabites.
Definitely not.
Same way they came over here to the Native Americans. Hey, we come in peace.
All right, get first Maccabees. Jump down.
First, wash your eyes.
Jump down to verse 60.
Verse 60.
Right, check this out.
The book of First.
This is what was going on during Antiochus. Bring it up.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 60.
Get some accounts, man.
At which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women that had caused their children to be circumcised.
Right, why you worried about me circumcising my son? They put them to death for circumcising their kids, read.
And they hanged the infants.
And they did what?
Hanged the
They hung
infants
the infants, the dead body, read.
about their necks.
Right?
And rifled their houses and slew them that had circumcised them.
Right, so they kicked in the door, killed everybody, and hung the infants by their neck. That's the so-called white man. That's the spirit of who else is Satan on the earth to hang an infant, man?
Look up Mary Turner. That's what they did. In the like 20 years ago.
But rifle houses?
No, she was a so-called black woman. They killed her. They cut the baby out. And hung the baby and stuff.
That was like 20 years ago?
That was like 100 so years ago.
That's wicked. That sound like Esau. Let's get
Her name Mary Turner.
The hung part is directly to the back of his head. As soon as they say hung, he wanted to.
I ain't gonna look it up. It's great.
Like get Second Maccabees chapter 6.
Second Maccabees, chapter 6
Verse 9.
and verse 9. Second Maccabees, chapter 6 and verse 9. And whoso would not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles should be put to death.
Right, this is going into that Hellenization. Right, read.
Then might a man have seen the present misery.
Right, keep reading.
For there were 2 women brought who had circumcised their children,
Right.
whom when they had openly led wound about the city,
Right, they openly read them about the city. Read.
the babes hanging at their breasts,
They had the kids hanging. Right, read.
they cast them down headlong from the wall.
Right, you see that? So they threw them off the damn wall, man.
Yeah.
Right? Because they was openly had their kids circumcised, so they threw them off the wall.
Keeping
Man.
the commandment.
Yeah, I was about to say these women in the truth, man. Keep back on earth.
17.
It's wicked as hell. I want to show when they burned them for keeping the Sabbath too. Is this the same chapter?
And again, what he was doing in the beginning.
Yeah. Second Maccabees chapter 6.
And you got that one where they wouldn't fight on the Sabbath.
You saw so damn.
What a wicked double,
They
man.
try to make them fight.
Matter of fact, yeah, keep reading.
Yeah,
So
weird
read
as
the
hell.
next verse. Right, this
Ver-
different things that was going on during Antiochus Hellenizing the Jews. Right?
Verse 11, and others that had one to get together into caves nearby to keep the Sabbath day secretly.
Right, they had to secretly keep the Sabbath day. Right, in a damn cave, man. Right, read.
Being discovered to Philip, were all burnt together.
They got burnt alive. Now Jake always saying, look, man, our people died to vote. You should vote. Well, hold on, they died to keep the commandments, so you should keep the damn commandments, man.
Yeah.
Talking about they died to vote. They got burnt alive to keep the Sabbath, man.
Literally.
So let's keep the Sabbath,
Damn,
man.
that's heartbreaking.
Right? Keep reading.
Because they made a conscience to help themselves for the honor of the most sacred day.
You see that? So they got burnt alive just to keep the Sabbath. You had men dying to eat for eating pork,
The Holy Covenant.
like spitting the pork out their mouth. Right? So that's the Hellenization of the Greeks. All started with Antiochus. And all his sons and successors, they continued that.
They died to keep that Holy Covenant.
It's wicked, Lord.
Cool.
Nah, that's it on that. Precept. All right. So with that, that's going into the Persian and Greek captivity. We're gonna continue next week. the last two captivities, Lord willing, Rome and Babylon the Great, America.
That's right.
Right? With that, we'll give Kwame Yashala.
Kwame Yashala.